PEO ATANG is a concept about hope. It was born when my son was conceived. It took about 6 months of writing, sitting down, and realizing how much hope there is in this world, even besides all the chaos that was going on at the same time. So I took it from that and I realized that it must be something that I have to finish, and hopefully when my son was at least a year old.
My name is Pokeng Setai, a friend of ATANG's, also curator of the show called PEO ATANG. ATANG, how you doing?
My brother, I'm good as can be.
Bless up, bless up, bless up.
It's good to be here. Thank you for helping me to put this together. And I must say, it's something that I didn't expect, but it's incredibly beautiful.
What does storytelling do for you as ATANG?
It's a narrative, and a narrative is a documentation of self, a documentation that can come from the past and still be relevant in the present and in the future. So in as many ways that I can, I try, and hopefully I do succeed in translating my thoughts. And by that, I've used many different types of materials and different types of textures. Like, for example, if you look at the first piece, this first piece is called Ngwemulilong. Ngwemulilong can be translated to the leopard on fire. When you look, it's a single piece of wood that's been carved all the way down to the size that you see. And then once it was carved, it was burnt with a hot fire again and again and again until it was absolutely black and you could see all the lines. And then when you look all over the body, you can see bronze pieces coming out, protruding, showing a rebirth and a regeneration, a transcendence in a way of this new life. And the piece that you see right after that is PEO ATANG. It's a single bright source which represents the highest form of yourself. And when you look over here, you can see the germination of the seed, which is actually made with a single piece of wood that was hand carved. You can see the shiny bronze, which is juxtaposed by the hand carved wood. It's made really raw in this part to show growth, because this is the beginning of the process of growth. This piece is layered with textures made with different materials, including tourmaline, which is the seed that rejects and negates any sort of negativity. And then here we have wood, hand carved and smoothed. And down on this side, we have bronze, which is steady, holding the tree, making sure that any direction that the wind blows it, it remains the same in one place. Finally, it is anchored by a stone, which makes sure that through all the winds and any toughness, the piece remains in its place where it belongs. Tourmaline is here to actually take away negative energy, blowing it to the winds. The next piece after that is Isahwe. Isahwe is a very tactile piece. As you can see, and with all the distractions that we may have around the thoughts that we have, around the thinking that we want to have, around the manifestations, we still realize that there is a magic circle always protecting us. It is our focus, our way of thinking, our culture, and our spirituality. No matter where we are, our minds concentrated on who we are as a people. The next piece that we're going to show is the map, the journey that PEO is taking from one contour to the other. We see the different patterns that actually show the layers and layers and layers of the journey that he's taking, each and every single place that he's moving to. And when you put all the maps together, it shows the length and the breadth of all the hardships that he goes through in order to get where he wants to, which is ultimately a place of transcendence.
I wanted to curate this work because it's an artist whose work I've been following for a very long time. Coming from Bloem, not having many artistic references, ATANG is this individual who I could look up to. He was born in Tabanchu, a region that boasts a very rich wood carving tradition. In seeing the sculptures, that allowed me to see where his skill with the wood was coming from. He is trying to tell a story of adversity, that this seed is growing in conditions which are not conducive for growth. But despite that, the seed germinates. And then we see the sprout in the centerpiece called PEO, which is a representation of his firstborn.
This is the beginning of the physical narrative, the one that actually shows the adventure that Bill goes on. And in the first picture, we see him going back, feeling very nostalgic to the home where he came from, the subterranean world. And when you look close, you can see an incredibly tall tree going all the way down, being a place marker for the stone that is hiding and protecting, closing off the cave to the subterranean world. A little bit to the right, we see Bill coming back to where he came from to come and find out how he can be able to get back to the subterranean world. He gets in trouble with the Queen Mother, and with that, he has to run away to his new solace, which is far away from where he came from. And one day, when he was in this place where he was by himself, he hears an echo, a vibration that is deep in the ocean, and it has come closer to him. And as soon as he tries to go out to find out what it is, he sees some creatures bobbing in and out, fins slightly in the back in the ocean, and he realizes there's danger, but he must reach that incredible sound that he's been calling him. So quickly he goes around the bay, collects as many rocks as possible, throws them into the water, until somehow he reaches the magic stone. And because of the stones that he has taken to go into the water, he can now go back again, safe and sound. The third picture actually shows when he's now back at the bay, back in his hut, and he's surrounded by a super large beast that is out there to go and get the stone that he wants. And because of all the vibration that the stone is carrying out, everybody wants to have it in their hand. This is now the turning point, the new way to run, the new direction he has to take to flee with this magic that he has in his hand. This fourth picture shows the first time he actually gets a proper meal. But even with that, it is cut short when he hears an alarm call from a bird. And with that, the beasts have come back to chase him again. Quickly, he jumps on this steed, which helps him to run, carrying him away from the danger that lurks in the back. The seed was glowing in his pouch, giving him a warning, telling him that something is on its way. He has finally got another chance to actually get some fruit. But lo and behold, we see two characters, Swarang and Okai, who are hiding behind the tree. And they felt the vibration, they came to attack, but somehow he manages to escape again. As much as he thinks he has escaped, he's still being followed by Okai, curious, coming from the back, hiding between all the bushes. In this picture, we see the life cycle of Butlali. In this life cycle, it starts with the seeds that are sprouting from all different plants that are around. These seeds get hooked onto any passing animal. And here we've got an animal that is actually birthing, if I may say, the seeds that have been born inside. And these seeds end up being on a tree where they subsequently eat all the fruit that is on it. And when they're done, they fall to the ground and they grow into a fully fledged animal. At the end of the life, the animal comes back into a hole that is right next to the tree, making sure that it can germinate from the same tree in order to be able to create the life cycle again and again. In this next picture, we see Bill, the protagonist, walking around a curve, but just on the other side of the curve, Butlali is waiting to come and give him information about the seed that he has in his hand. And somewhere in the bushes, when you look, with a bird's eye view, is Hodim. And Hodim was actually looking down at these creatures, making sure that the journey that Bill is taking is always safe. Bill along the way meets a lot of different types of chaos, and one of them is the stones that have hands. Just like a Venus flytrap, these hands catch any animal that actually stands on the physical stone, and the only way that it can escape is if something cuts through them, eats them, or destroys him in that way. Bill and Okai, who's been following him, actually get caught by these animals, these plants, these stones. And with that, there were long-nosed mice that were underground. They heard the disturbance, and because they really deplore noise, they came up half-blind because of the sun and started chewing at anything that was making noise. They ate the stones that had the hands. In the quest for all the creatures and everybody that wanted to get the stone, there is a wizard that sent a flock of owls to go and create chaos around Bill. Owls that are headless, that are coming to attack, collect, and deliver the stone to their wizard master. After all the birds flee, they flee towards a mountain, a magic mountain, where Bill follows until he gets to the cave, which is the entrance of the mountain. Inside, every single stone, every single pebble had a mirror finish, super shining, where he could see himself in any direction he was turning. Bill is standing in front of one of the shiniest, most reflective stones he has ever seen. He walks to it, and as he does that, he sees a reflection, not quite of himself, but something that looks human, that looks like his form, but it's actually a reflection of plants, of nature. He reaches over to it, and as you can see, it turns into a real-life form, immediately changing him, giving him supernatural powers. And as you look, the universe and the stars reflected in his body, giving him an astral understanding of who he is and what is happening around him, and therefore the next part of the journey. This picture is actually not part of the show, but in a way it is an interjection to show the next part of the trilogy, the second book. So in this story, we see beasts which are even more chaotic than all the other ones that he's met along the way. These two creatures are actually hiding underground, the hands protruding, shape-shifting to look like trees, so that any creature that comes, eats any of the fruit, passes out, and finally gets eaten by the creatures underneath. As you can see, the tentacles are out there to reach and hold and grab and finally swallow anything that is in its way. Its body is hardened by all the scars of all the battles that it has fought, making sure that it can reach the destination it wants to. The shapeshifter, Sabatan, has now grown a new leg, being 5, being able to climb on top of any surface, going up rocks, hills, cliffs, and any surface that they need to, just to get exactly what they want. The next part is actually something even more magical. My great-great-great-great-great-grandmother was a rainmaker. She would go over the hill with a single cow, come back, and when she did, there would be heavy rain. This is an incredible artwork for me because it shows the different generations, but it also shows the symbolism of rain. A lot of people always say there's a dark cloud above me. But if you really think about it, dark clouds are the rain that is being brought down, making sure that all the seeds are germinating, creating new life for everyone. My grandmother started this piece when she came back from Limpopo, and she had made a 1 by 1 meter piece just for me. I loved it so much, it had to be incorporated. And because we are Badibuwa, the clan of the rain, I've understood this piece to be higher than myself, hence the height that keep on escalating and turning around and around in a spiral. This is generational wealth, this is a legacy. This for me is more than artwork. It's an understanding of who I am in multiple ways through the lineage of my family, of my culture, of who I am in my core being. So this piece is one of the ones that has the most meaning for me. This is a vortex of magic, spiraling us to the spiritual world, taking us higher and higher to the biggest, most incredible understanding of ourselves.
ATANG is challenging us to think about ourselves in relation to what's going to come after us. And this is for PEO to grow up and revisit as he gets older. In a sense, it's a form of archiving and preserving stories for him to learn from. I see an opportunity for the audience to be moved by this universe, this journey of self-emancipation, which the exhibition is really about.